What's up, everyone? Thanks for joining for today's recap session. Today is the first trading day of the month of November. All right, let's see what this month is going to have in stock for us. Are we going to get that volume, and are we going to get some nice action? And of course, October was a bleak month for me in terms of my P&L, but of course in terms of learning and overall strategy, I learned a lot. I definitely had a lot of takeaways from the month of October, and I want to build on that and demonstrate that out in November. So I'm really excited for this month. As you remember, I started a month deep in the red in October. If you've not seen that recap, please go and have a look at that from the weekend. I'll include a link in the description below. And today was, of course, first trading day of the month, and complete opposite. In 100% different mindset to how I began October and where I was in terms of my game plan. Definitely feel a lot more in control, really liking where I am right now in terms mentally. And the market is cold in a sense that the strategy that I trade, there isn't much out there for me to trade on right now. And I just need to bide my time, be patient, and capture the opportunities when they come along. And I try to close off November with good enough stats and good enough quality, or with quality trades where I can justify. So let's have a quick look at the screen share. I'll walk you through what's been happening this morning, and then we'll also look at my trades for the day. So I took 3 trades today. I'll discuss that in a moment. But before I do that, let's just look at CURR. I felt that throughout the day, this morning, CURR gave us the cleanest move, in my opinion anyway, where I felt like there were entries. Unfortunately, I didn't take any trades on it. That's the downside for me anyway. It had news on at what time? It had news at 8, but it had other headlines. It's not showing here. There was a headline in relation to a merger, and there was also some announcement that there was going to be some news coming out at 8. But there was a headline in relation to a reverse merger. I don't fully understand what that is, but anyway, so there was news that gave it this little pop. And honestly, this is picture perfect. Initial surge, a nice pullback, and then another leg up. I watched it go. There was really nice entries on this, even on the 10-second chart. I suppose I was a bit hesitant in taking this trade. I mean, you can see this 10-second chart, really nice clean action. There's a surge up, pullback, bit of a maybe ABCD pattern, ABCD here, and then leg up, and then again just maybe a bit of a grind up here, but definitely a nice surge here and a nice pullback here. If you've missed this first part, that would have been a nice entry. And in fact, this is the entry I was sort of hovering and looking around, that 593. Yeah, that would have been a really nice entry, and that would have given me a nice clean profit to loss ratio, which is something that I'm trying to focus on this month. So CURR, in my opinion, gave the cleanest moves. But in terms of the volume traded for the day, where is it? CURR. Bear with me 1 second. I just need to look at my CURR. We are looking at 14 million shares of volume. So on a stock with a higher float of 30 million, that seems quite too little. And at the time when I was looking at those moves, the volume was there, but obviously given that it is technically a higher float, even though it's 30 million, so I didn't trade that. And obviously at the moment, currently we've got PHIO, which is the obvious stock at the moment, which everybody's jumping on. 67 million shares of volume going through it. Let's just have a look at some of this price action. So this is the 1-minute chart. Oh, sorry, let's look at the headline very quickly. So a positive news on a set of tests that they carried out. So obviously the market's taken it to be very positive because it's been going up and up, but I didn't take any trades on it because I just couldn't find a price action clean enough. And there was a point where I was watching it at $3 around here, and honestly it was all choppy here, and I swear to God I did see 111,000 share buyer on the bid, and I was like, whoa, that's really super strong. Obviously it's difficult to know whether that's a short covering or, but you know, it then didn't hold 3 and it just popped down and that buy had gone. So you know, it was just literally they showed their hand and then the bid just and then disappeared, and then it fell down to 280, 270. So I watched the price action, and look at these candles, these 1 minute candles. We've got 1.7 million shares of volume going through that candle alone. So a lot of volume going through it. The price action, I don't know, would we call this a grinder? I personally just couldn't see being able to capture or time the moves well enough so I can capture 20 or more cents per share on it. So I left it alone. I just couldn't trade it. But before that, what did I trade? So let me just show you my P&L. I've taken a screenshot so you can see it, because I'm conscious that on a smaller device where you're watching, you might not be able to see this. So I took 3 trades on RNTX, and the first entry was a really good entry, but I sold it. I sold it out of uncertainty that it wasn't going to give us a move. And in fact, that would have been the cleanest trade for me, because it would have given me 30 cents or more on that trade. So then I got back in at 258, because as you can see, went up, and gave me a bit of FOMO, but I managed to get in only with 5 shares, and I got out for almost 20 cents per share move. So I was able to capture a good enough move there. But then unfortunately the next trade was a loser, so I gave back 10 cents on that share. Still good profit to loss ratio, 20 cents to 10 cents approximately, more or less. But we're not really looking at the P&L here. I mean, 50 cents, it's not really something to talk about. I want to focus on this price action, the buy and the sell side, and my profit to loss ratio. So that's where I am. And then if you look at the entries, I think I marked them out on the chart. Actually, let me just see if I can show you on my dash trader, because that will have the entries nice and clean out for you. Here we go. So let me just make this slightly bigger, and if I can zoom in a little bit. I really don't hate working on these charts. So as you can see, my first entry there at 222, then I sold at 223. I think I was a bit hesitant. It was like, am I bought too high given where this 1 minute candle was? But of course it gave us a big surge. And look, the volume wasn't high enough then. We look at, well, I mean, okay, maybe on that one, what was it on that one? On that one was 459,000, but the previous candles were 100 bars were 140 and 85,000. So given that it was a high float stock, I just didn't feel confident enough. So I got in and got out, and that was a good trade. And this was a loser, but like on hindsight, I probably should have not even taken this trade on it, because look at all these topping tails, and the volume was gradually increasing, but then look at this big red volume bar. And then we had the really nice pop here, which was more over 1 million shares of volume. But again, if it's done this big flush, could you have trusted it? So look, on hindsight, I don't think I should have traded RNTX. And as you can see, it's completely sold off here on this 5-minute chart. So big move up, but then completely sold off. So yeah, on hindsight, perhaps not. Shouldn't have probably taken that trade. Let's have a look at THAR very quickly. Again, pop and drop. Obviously, that just popped up on the scanners. I just wanted to see what the deal was with that. THAR. Yeah, it's just sad. So look, private placement, 540 million. I mean, it's a good enough headline. Good enough headline, but had 460,000 shares of volume go through it. What is happening? Honestly, what is happening? So it seems like although the volume is there, you still got to treat it with, air of caution and not to fall into the trap of buying too high. Just got to wait for confirmation. I think confirmation is going to be my friend in this market. And I'd rather not get greedy and capture less than going into something quite high and end up, catching a big whip and one of these candles coming down. So yeah, I think we're going to call it a day here and walk away with, at least I've taken 3 trades. 3 days of no trading last week. So broken the sort of streak of no trades, and still maintain discipline. I suppose you can always evaluate the trades you've taken. So the trades I've took on RNTX, I wouldn't call them quality trades, but the stock had news and it had perhaps the volume wasn't there. I think the volume was the key there for me. But I'd say it wasn't. It was more or less a quality, but we needed more volume, and I think it was just slightly that much like on the higher end of the float spectrum. So in comparison to THAR, which I was just talking about a second ago, that has like a 500,000 float. So you can see that the big range is going to be on the lower float stocks. Anyway, so that's the wrap for the first trading day of November. Much better judgment and assessment from my side of the market that we are in, and I'm just going to wait and see what tomorrow brings, and that's just going to go in with no expectations at all, and just take each day as it comes. And if an opportunity is there staring me in the face and I can't avoid it, then yeah, I'll just take it. But I'll stick to smaller share sizes to begin with, and then try to build a cushion from there on, and just not to take too many risks and keep those keep the P&L on the control on the wrap too. But of course, that's not the main focus here. The idea is to capture as much as good quality trades. All right, enjoy the rest of your day, and I shall see you all tomorrow.